Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Dennis Brown, and thank you for joining me for another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Today, I'm going to share with you, should I start a freight brokerage in 2023? All right. Not me, but should you? So I get this question all the time. Should I start a freight brokerage? Should I start a different business? Should I invest in crypto? Should I invest in the stock market? Should I start another business? And so today I'm going to share with you and answer the question, should I, AKA you, start a freight brokerage business on my own? Okay. So that's the reason why you're here today. But we're going to jump into that in just a minute. In between now and then, let me give you a quick structure of what we're going to do. First, we're going to do the training. We're going to talk about that topic. Then we're going to do probably a free giveaway, right? Maybe I'll give away a Freightpreneur t-shirt or some cash, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. And then at the end, we're going to do live Q&A. All right. So I hope you guys stick around to the end, where I will do my best to try to answer any questions you have and in the time allotted. So, all right, cool. So I got a lot of notes, right? I got a lot of notes here. Well, actually, it's only one page, thankfully. I got a lot of notes to go over today. And do me a huge favor while we're waiting for people to get live. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know the city and state you're logging in from. I'm in the Buffalo, New York area. I'll try to give you a quick shout out. I'd love to hear something from my existing students. People have already taken my Freight Broker Bootcamp online course. If you're not familiar with that, I started a freight brokerage back in 2003, did over $200 million in sales as a freight brokerage, sold that company. But along the way, I started a program called Freight Broker Bootcamp, which is the most cost-effective and comprehensive online freight broker training available. Trained over 10,000 students, had that program for over a decade, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. So I'd love to hear from my students that have already taken that program in the comments. And if you're brand new and this is your first time in a live, let me know that this is your first time. Totally appreciate you guys being here. Let's give some shout outs and then we will go from there. What do we got? We have Holistic Logistics from Kennesaw, Georgia. Daniel Rodriguez. Oh, Matt McCall from Orlando, Florida. Blakely Friend from Phoenix, Arizona. PND Logistics from Wisconsin. Michael Bemis. No audio. That's on your end, buddy. You're going to have to turn the, you're going to have to hit the speaker button or something because everybody else is getting audio. Nika from Atlanta. Ozan from Lincoln, Nebraska. Lewis from Los Angeles. Duandra Johnson from Birmingham, Alabama. Joko from Macedonia. Tamika from Wisconsin. Monica from Bloomingdale, Illinois. Shane Most from Utah. Daniel from Westlaco, Texas. Lewis Ruffin. First timer. Awesome, Lewis. Congratulations. Welcome. Marilyn from Austin, Texas. You took the bootcamp and it was awesome. Thank you so much, Marilyn. Thank you for the kind words. Eves from California, somewhere. I can't even pronounce that. Paul Johnson from Raleigh, North Carolina. Layla, first timer. Awesome. Man, we got people from all over the place. Thank you so much for being here. As you can see, some of the people that are in this live are existing or past students of mine. Some of the people are brand new, and some people are just curious about, this whole freight broker deal. What is a freight broker? How does a freight broker work? And today I'm going to share with you, should I start a freight brokerage, right? Should you start a freight brokerage? That's really the title. So we're going to give it another minute or two. Again, the agenda is this. We're going to do the training. Then we're going to do a giveaway. We'll probably do a t-shirt, maybe some cash. You got to stick around for the giveaway. And then we are going to do live Q&A at the end. So let me see here. Where are we at? All right. So we're going to get the ball rolling here. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Apologies if I couldn't give you a shout out, just a limited amount of time. And I know everybody wants to get the ball rolling. So normally I do these trainings on Mondays, but yesterday was, number one, it was my daughter's birthday and she was having a bunch of friends over for a brunch, and I just figured I'd reschedule. Plus it was Martin Luther King's birthday, right? So we took the day off yesterday on Monday so that we could do it today on Tuesday. So apologize for the minor reschedule there, but I'm back and I'm ready to give you some really interesting perspectives. So today I'm going to share with you why you should start a freight brokerage in 2023. But I'm going to start out with this. First, you need to answer these 4 questions. After you answer these 4 questions, I'm going to share with you in just a moment, you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why I think becoming a freight broker is a great investment and a great business. So I'm going to share with you those 5 reasons. But first, we're going to start with 4 questions. All right. So lean in and listen really quick. Question number 1 is, do you like working from home or in a small office environment? That's an important question because that is really what freight brokers do. Most of your time is working on a computer, phone, in a small office environment. That's question number 1. All right. So answer that question in your mind. Question number 2, do you like a fast-paced work environment? Do you like to multitask? Do you like to have multiple things going on? Do you like a fast pace, or are you someone who's way more slow and you kind of like to sit back and do one thing at a time, right? Because being a broker requires a certain level, a certain pace, a certain, there's a lot of things that go into it. So again, do you like a fast-paced work environment? Answer that question. Number 3, do you like problem solving? Are you good at problem solving? Do you enjoy problem solving? Because logistics is all about problem solving. Number 4, are you willing to invest in skills that would help you to excel? Are you willing to invest in learning new skills? So those are the 4 questions. I want you to answer those 4 questions in your mind. And here's my take on it. If you answer at least 3 of those questions yes, then I think you might want to consider becoming a freight broker, right? That's so we can move to the next step here. So answer those 4 questions and now we'll move on to the next step. I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why I think becoming a freight broker is it's great timing and a great investment. But I want you to stick around to the end because I'm actually the last one, number 5. I'm going to share with you how many customers you need, how many shippers you need in order to earn a 6-figure income. And I think you're going to be surprised. Okay. So stick around to the end to number 5. Number 1 is this. There's a growing demand from shippers for quality brokers. Now, Bob Costello, which is the chief economist for the American Trucking Association, anticipates that in 2023, there'll be a 64,000 there'll be a shortage of 64,000 drivers in the industry, truck drivers. And in 2024, they're anticipating an 82,000 driver shortage. Now, why is that important? It's important because the driver shortage and a growing driver shortage makes a shipper's job much, much harder. So as the shipper's job gets harder to work direct with carriers, they rely very heavily on brokers to fill the gap. So that growing demand is driven very heavily by the shortage of drivers from year to year. And as you can see, from 2021 to 22 to 23, there's a growing driver shortage. So that's number 1. That's the number 1 reason, or one of the primary reasons why I think that starting a freight brokerage is a great investment. Number 2, the global economy continues to expand, and it's driven very heavily, obviously, by population growth, by e-commerce, and technological advancements, right? So those are some of the primary reasons why the economy continues to grow. And so I want you to understand the current population, right? Current estimated population is about 7.2 billion people. But by 2030, they're anticipating that growth to hit 8.5 billion people. So what you have to understand, just think about it logically. The more people there are on this planet, the more consumption and the more demand for products to be shipped, not only in the United States, but throughout North America and throughout the globe. So that is growing. And that's another growth mechanism and another important reason why you should consider becoming a freight brokerage, because the supply chain is really what drives all of that. And as a broker, you're a core part of that, right? Number 3, there is no college degree or entrance exam, meaning you don't have to have a college degree and you don't have to pass any sort of exam or test or certification. Now, So the key there is that the barrier to entry is very low right now. But my suggestion to you is get in now, right? Or get in very soon, because one thing I've learned about politics and the bureaucracy is anytime they can dip their hands in and overregulate or try to generate more revenue by requiring people to take an exam. I mean, perfect example. If you sell insurance, you got to pay the state for an exam. If you are a realtor, you got to pay the state for an exam. If you're a hairstylist, you got to pay the state for an exam. There are so many careers out there that require you not only to have a license, but also to take an exam. Now, as a freight broker, you do need to be licensed, but there is no exam for that. All right. So I want you to understand that's a really important component because it's a very low barrier to entry. Okay. That's number 3. Number 4, you can work from home, right? Which obviously doesn't require a commute and gives you a lot of flexibility with your schedule. Working from home, I have personally worked from home. I've been an entrepreneur for over 27 years, and I've worked from home out of those 27 years, I've worked from home for over a decade total. Now, I love working from home, especially now that I've got a family and I'm a little bit older, because it gives me ultimate flexibility, not only for my personal needs like working out or hobbies, but it also gives me flexibility with my family, right? So if my daughter gets sick at school, I can quickly drive over, pick her up. If they're not feeling well, they can stay home from school and not worried about being alone. If there's other things that I have to do, I have the flexibility to do it because I don't have an employer telling me when I can come or when I can take a break or when I can go to pick up my child. So working from home has a ton of benefits. And obviously, that's where most freight brokers and freight agents start. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, and this is the 5th and final one. All right, this is where I want to share with you. It does not require you to be a sales rock star in order to make 6 figures as a freight broker, because a lot of people are afraid of sales, but you do not have to be a sales rock star in order to make 6 figures. I know many, many students who are not very good at selling who are making 6 figures. And so what I want you to understand with you, with just 10 small, very small shippers, giving you 1 load per week at an average of a couple $100 profit per load, you have now generated over $100,000 in profit that you can stick in your pocket. All right. That's just 10 very small shippers. Now, I know brokers that have 1 shipper and do over 6 figures, or 2 shippers or 3 shippers, but 10 very small shippers giving you 1 shipment a week will typically going to generate from you around 6 figures in income. Here's the cool part. In order for you to make a full-time income, right? A full-time income, somewhere in the $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 range, you might only need 3 to 5 different shippers in order to do that. So my key point here is this. A lot of people are afraid of sales and afraid of how am I going to get clients? But here's the cool part. Unlike many businesses, right? Like, being a realtor or being an insurance agent or any of those other businesses I mentioned where you need hundreds or even thousands of clients, with the freight brokerage business, you really only need a small handful in order to earn a 6-figure income. So those are the 5 reasons that I wanted to share with you that I think it's a great time and a great investment to become a freight broker. Those are the 5 of the dynamics right there. So if you guys are curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, all you got to do is check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Trained over 10,000 students, had that program for over a decade. I've personally done over $200 million as a freight broker. We offer dedicated support and we have a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. So check that out. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you next week with another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. All right, so stick around. Don't disappear. Don't disappear. I'm still going to do, now that we did the training, okay, I'm still going to do, I'm going to do a giveaway. So maybe I'll give away a shirt. Maybe I'll give away some cash. Last week, I think I gave away cash. This week, maybe I'll give away another shirt. And then I'm going to do live Q&A. So I want you to stick around to the end. So you'll be able to hold your questions. Don't type your questions in yet, because if you type them in now, I'm going to miss your questions. Okay. So hold your questions. Okay. Until I tell you. And then, so let's do the giveaway, right? Let's do a quick giveaway. So why don't we do this? Why don't we, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys, anybody who's subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much. Truly appreciate you being here. And I just wanted to say a big thank you, because my YouTube channel over the weekend hit 50,000 subscribers. So we hit 50,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. If you're one of those subscribers, thank you so much. Truly appreciate if you've subscribed and or watched a lot of the videos. I know that's where a lot of you discover me and my content and my brand in the Freight Broker Bootcamp program. So thank you so much. So why don't we just tie that right in to the giveaway? So here, what I want you to do, here's all you got to do in order for a chance to win. We're going to give away a t-shirt, right? The Freightpreneur t-shirt, someone who solves problems you don't know you have in ways you can't understand. Now, you will have to be in the United States in order to get this, because I don't ship these internationally. But here's all you got to do. Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/freightbrokers. Click the subscribe button and the all notifications bell. All right. So you got to click subscribe and the all notifications bell. That's going to make sure you get notified every time I put a new video out. Once you do that, come back into the comments and let me know I subscribed and hit the all notifications bell on YouTube. You need to let me know both of those. So listen carefully. You can't just say subscribe. You can't just say done. You got to say subscribed on YouTube and I hit the all notifications bell. That is what's going to qualify you for the giveaway for a chance to win the t-shirt. I'm going to give away one of these t-shirts. Then we're going to jump into live Q&A. So yeah, that's all you got to do. Go to youtube.com/freightbrokers. This is an honor system. So hit the subscribe button and the all notifications bell. Come back into the comments. Let me know you did that. And then you're going to be entered as someone who has a chance to win this Freightpreneur t-shirt. All right. All right, cool. All right. So we got a bunch of people that are subscribing. Awesome. Totally appreciate it. The YouTube channel, just so you guys know, it has hundreds of free training videos on there. I was doing some research over the week. I uploaded my first YouTube video on this channel back in 2012. So it's been 10 years. And then I didn't really upload a lot for quite a while. And then for the last 8 years, I've been uploading videos almost weekly. Okay. So there's hundreds of videos on there for you guys to check out, ranging anywhere from, from startup, freight broker, freight agent startup, freight broker sales, freight broker marketing, mindset. There's all different categories in there. There's student success stories. There's a bunch of playlists where you guys can just go right through the playlist. So yeah, so it's a great channel. If I do say so myself, I get a lot of great feedback from it. And you got one more minute to subscribe and click the all notifications bell, then come back into the comments and let me know to be entered to win the t-shirt. I'm going to do the t-shirt giveaway in about 60 seconds. Let me grab a quick drink. And cool, Layla. Awesome. I'm excited to have you. All right, guys. We've got just about another 30 seconds, and then we're going to do the giveaway, and then we're going to jump into live Q&A. But hold your questions, okay? Don't type your questions in the box, because if you type your questions in the box, they're going to get lost during the whole giveaway, okay? Hold your questions until I say it, and then type all your questions in, and I will do my absolute best to try to get to your question today. All right, cool. Here we go, guys. So we're going to do the giveaway. I'm going to scroll through, close my eyes, and wherever my mouse lands, that is the winner. The winner is Layla Lewis, subscribed and all notifications bell selected. She also said she's going to be taking my class very soon. Thank you so much, Layla. Here's all you got to do to claim your prize. I want you to go to my Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page. So it's the Facebook page for Freight Broker Bootcamp. Like the page and then message me your full name, your mailing address, and your size. Now, these are unisex sizing, so they hold pretty true for unisex sizing. Your full name, your address, and your size, and let me know that you won the YouTube subscribe t-shirt giveaway. Okay. If you do that, we will send you a shirt. You'll get it within a week or two from the time we receive it. We'll try to process it very quickly within the next 24 to 48 hours, but make sure you got to send me that. Go to the Facebook channel, the Facebook page for Freight Broker Bootcamp, like the page, and then simply message me your full name, address, and your size, and that you won the YouTube subscribe giveaway contest for the t-shirt. All right. So congratulations, Layla. And congratulations to everybody who was a part of the training today. Thank you for being here. And go type your questions in. We're going to do some Q&A. We're going to hit some Q&A. So type your questions in and I will do my absolute best. Here's what I know for sure. I will not get to all your questions today. Okay. There's always way too many questions, too many questions for the time allotted. Okay. So typically I probably got about 20 minutes or so to do Q&A, and then we're going to cut it off for today, but get your questions in there and I will do my best to answer them as quick as I can. All right. All right, so let's answer this question. Hi, Dennis. I'm working as a freight broker for 6 months now. I did drayage training and truckload. I've been a driver myself. They recently moved me to sales. Now I don't know what to do. Okay, so it sounds to me like you were a driver and you were in operations, and now you're over in sales, all right? And you don't know what to do. Okay, so you're asking me for what to do in sales. And that is a very difficult question to answer in a minute or less, okay? So what I'm going to suggest you do is go to the YouTube channel, okay? I'm going to pull it up for you again, if I can find it, which of course, there it is. Okay, go to my YouTube channel, and under playlists, okay, there's a section called playlists. I have an entire playlist dedicated to freight broker sales. It talks about cold calling. It talks about social selling and using LinkedIn. It talks about almost every idea that I could come up with related to freight broker sales is in there. Okay. So those are absolutely free. Those playlists are absolutely free on YouTube. So that would be my suggestion. Now, when you go through some of those trainings and you have additional questions, then now you can come back into the live and say, I have this specific question about cold calling, or I have this specific question about using LinkedIn, or I have this specific question about XYZ, right? That's going to be a lot more beneficial. So my suggestion is start with the YouTube channel playlist. There's a ton of information there. You can scroll through the topics and pick any videos you want, or you can watch them all if you're smart. Okay. Hope you guys, hope that makes sense. All right, let me scroll up. Okay. Antoine, do you know of a cheaper lead generation tool like Seamless.ai? Leads, data, just so you guys know, data is good quality data, which is what you're talking about with leads. You're looking for a lead database, okay? Good data is never cheap. Bad data it's not uncommon for bad data to be very cheap because it's bad. So if you got a list of logistics managers or warehouse managers or shipping managers, and you go in there and none of them are correct, the phone numbers are wrong, the website's wrong, the person's name is wrong, everything is wrong, the data is bad, and it's not quality data, well, then you get what you pay for. But if the data is good, it can be very expensive. So I've definitely heard of and seen Seamless.ai. There's another one that I've got a lot of really, really great feedback from other members, Zoom Info. Again, it's not cheap. Good data is not cheap. But what you have to understand is this: how long would it take you time-wise to source 1,000 leads? Going on Google, going on LinkedIn, going on different associations, going on different free websites. How long would it take you to source 1,000 leads in your niche? And If those resources are free, how good do you think that data is? How accurate and up to date do you think that data is? Now, some data like LinkedIn is typically a little bit more accurate than Google, which is a little bit more accurate than some of the databases out there. But ultimately, you got to think about it in terms of time and resources and energy. If it takes you 100 hours to put together 1,000 really good prospects, how much is 100 hours worth to you? Or even if it took you 50 hours to source all that, how much is 50 hours worth to you? I don't know about you, but I don't even get out of bed for less than $1,000 an hour. Okay. So even if you're talking about $50 an hour at 50 hours, that's $2,500, right? So don't undervalue your time. Sometimes investing in quality data, almost always investing in quality data, is a great investment if you have the resources. So my only other suggestion to you is maybe Zoom Info. That's another source where you can buy data. And I've heard really, really good things from other members in the training. Blakely Friend asks, have you ever thought about doing a live cold call training where you or one of your top earners make live phone calls to shippers? Yeah, I have thought about it. It's on the list of things to do, but there's a lot more things to logistically factor into that, right? And it's probably something that couldn't be a live training. I couldn't do it on a live just because you can't control how many phone calls. It'd have to be something that would be recorded. But yeah, that's something that's interesting. As a matter of fact, that may be something I integrate into the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. That Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, for those of you that don't know, that's my 5-week Freight Broker sales coaching program specifically on how to get shippers. It shares my best strategies, tactics, tools, and my entire system for selling freight brokerage and for getting clients. If you guys want, it's closed right now. You can't be a part of that right now, but you can get on the wait list for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator. And again, I'll be opening that up probably in February. Okay. I always limit the number of people. I limit it to 100 people. It sells out usually within a few days or a week. But if you're on the wait list, you'll be the first to get notified. So make sure you get on that wait list, right? Don't be a fool, because that is my entire freight broker sales system broken down from A to Z. And not only is it the system, but I coach you through the process for 5 weeks. Okay. So get on that wait list. All right. Okay, John Brock asks, you said the driver shortage is increasing every year, but why is the rates for loads decreasing year by year, but the rate of the fuel is increasing as well? Okay, so here's the thing, guys. When you're talking about the market, right? When you're talking about the market or any market, it never goes like this forever. Most markets are kind of like an EKG, right? One of those heart monitors. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. That's how, but the trend of the economy, which is driven by population, the e-commerce phenomenon, and technology, right, is trending up. So the demand for shipping and logistics services is going up as that population growth and demand expands, as I explained to you. Now, the challenge with drivers, the driver shortage, is the fact that most drivers, the heaviest percentage of drivers in the industry are baby boomers. Okay? Most 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds graduating high school or college don't want a career in truck driving. So what's happening is you have more drivers retiring than are coming into the industry. So you're net, we're losing drivers, because the baby boomers are retiring when they can, right? And so you have less drivers, and they're not replacing those drivers at the same or higher rate. So you have a shortage. Now, how does that relate back to rates? there are short-term blips in every economy, right? So right now we came off of a boom, right? So we had a 10-year boom in the economy where demand and rates continued to go up steadily over a decade. And then we fell off a wall with COVID, and then it started to recover. And then now, they're possibly predicting some sort of a small, short recession. But ultimately, what you have to understand is don't look at it in a short window. You have to look at rates and you have to look at the opportunity in a longer window. So look at a 3, 5, 10-year trend versus a 1, 2, 3, 6-month data point. Okay. So I hope that helps. But that's really what's going on. And as far as fuel goes, again, fuel goes up, fuel goes down. The cool part about being a broker is that you don't care whether the fuel is up or down because you're simply making the middle. Every carrier has the same fuel price, virtually the same fuel price. Every broker has the same carriers. So ultimately, the difference between you making, fuel being at $5 a gallon or $3 a gallon for diesel, the middle that you're making, that 10 to 20% won't change. Okay. So I hope that helps. Okay, so PND Logistics, best low cost rate template invoice TMS software for 5 loads per month brokerage. Okay, so I'm going to share with you one. So if you go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/TMS, we have a preferred vendor, which is called Ascend TMS. Tim Hyam is the CEO. He's a friend of mine. We have a very similar backstory, great guy. And I love the Ascend TMS software. Here's why. Number one, they're very innovative technologically. So they're always adding new technology to try to keep brokers, kind of on the cutting edge, right? But it's not overly complex to use for a new broker or to learn for a new broker. Plus, okay, if you go to that URL, you can get signed up with no credit card for a free trial. You don't even have to put a credit card in. All you got to put in the coupon code is FBBC, Freight Broker Bootcamp, right? F as in Frank, BBC. If you put that in the coupon code, number one, you're going to be able to sign up without a credit card. Number two, they're going to give you a shipper directory for free just for being part of the Freight Broker Bootcamp community. Okay. So they are one of the preferred vendors and the vendor of choice that I would suggest for you as a small broker doing a small number of loads. So go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/TMS. You can sign up for free. You got to make sure that in the sign up, you use the coupon code FBBC. Otherwise, you're not going to get that shipper directory. Okay. So that's what I would suggest. We've got tons of members that are using the software, and I've heard nothing but good things about Ascend TMS, not only from the industry as a whole and my own observation, but from tons of students that have in the last year signed up for the Ascend TMS software. So I hope that helps. All right, so I'm scrolling through here. Give me another minute. Okay, so Nika asks, how much does it cost to start? Do you suggest supply chain management training as well? Okay, number one, you do not need supply chain management training, okay? You do not need a 4-year degree. You don't need a 2-year degree, and you don't need any experience. Remember, when I started as a freight brokerage back in 2003, I had 0 experience in logistics, trucking, transportation, okay? So, and if I can do it, you can do it. You probably know more now about becoming a freight broker than I did when I first got started. Okay. So you don't need supply chain training. How much does it cost to get started? Well, there's two opportunities. One, you can start as a freight broker, and the freight broker model is a little bit more expensive. Typically it falls somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000, depending upon your bond cost and depending upon the different tools and different things and the cost of the training that you invest in. But yeah, it's not a lot of startup costs. I looked it up the other day. An average pizzeria, to start a pizzeria, the average pizzeria in the United States costs over $95,000 startup cost just to start selling pizza. You know how much pizza you got to sell to recover $95,000? I don't know the exact number, but we'll just call it a shit ton. Okay. As a freight broker, if you invest $2,000 to $4,000, get up and running, working from home, you could literally recover that investment in a month or two, depending upon, how quickly you get things up and running. Now, again, I can't guarantee anything, but I can tell you if it's only $2,000 to $4,000 and a very small monthly cost for load boards and basic software, the barrier to entry to become a freight broker is very, very low. Now, if you want to start as a freight agent is an independent contractor that works under a freight broker, right, on a straight commission basis and typically gets paid 50 to 70% of the profit. The startup cost there is a few $100, right? Because you don't have to get a bond. You don't have to get an authority. You don't have to get insurance. You don't have to do any of that, right? You got to get a basic training. You got to have internet access, a phone, and you'll work with the broker on some basic software. So it's, you're talking a few $100 to get up and running as an agent. So I hope that helps. And let me remove that. Okay. Where are we at? Okay, so Eves, most of the response I get from shippers is we already have a freight broker we work with. How do I respond? Okay, well, rather than thinking about how do you respond, you have to think about why am I getting that response? Okay, so think for a second. If you know anything about me, if you've heard any of my sales training, if you've heard any of my training at all, you know that the key to success in freight broker sales is to be different. If you sound like everybody else, if you sound like the other 10 brokers that called them this month, okay, then chances are you're going to get the same results as they did, which is them trying to push you off with some lame excuse. Whether the excuse be, hey, we've already got a broker we work with, we don't work with brokers, I don't have time, whatever the case may be, whatever that little smokescreen objection is. If you act like others, if you talk like others, you're going to be treated like others. So the key to success is to sound different. So you have to have what I call a compelling sales hook, something that differentiates you from 95% of the brokers out there. Because most of the brokers out there are very unoriginal and they call up and they say, hey, I'm a freight broker. We're the greatest in the world. We can cover your freight. I'd love to quote on some of your lanes. Lazy, boring, not compelling, and a waste of time. Because all you're relying on is pure, unadulterated luck to stumble across the shipper that is the perfect timing. Okay? You don't want to base your success on luck. So if you can learn and understand how to get your prospect's attention in the first 5 to 15 seconds of that call, and you can differentiate yourself from the competition, all of a sudden you're not going to hear those objections anymore. Okay? Why? Because it's different is better than better, right? I've said it before. It's not I didn't coin that phrase. The first time I heard it was from Sally Hogshead. But the way I think about this is very simplistic. It's very hard to be better than all of your competition at everything. It's better to be harder. It's harder to be better at communicating. It's harder to be better at service. It's harder to be better at rates. It's harder to be better at all of technology, right? It's hard to be better than your competition at everything, but it's very easy with a little bit of thought process to be different. So it's easier to differentiate yourself and to get their attention through differentiation than it is trying to play the better game. Okay? So I hope that helps. And that's a big, big part of my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program. So again, I would encourage you and urge you to get on the wait list. for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, right? So go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. It's free to get on the wait list. The training is not free, and it's not cheap, but you'll get a 10 or 20x times investment. Trust me when I tell you the training, it's the absolute best training I've ever put together, right? So yeah, and if you want me to coach you for 5 weeks, that's the only way you can do it, right? So, and we've had hundreds of people go through that training, and just so you know, the average rate, we have everybody that finishes the training does an exit survey. They do a 10-question survey. And one of the primary questions on that survey is, how likely are you to recommend this to a friend? 1 to 10. And the average rating is a 9.2. 9.2 out of 10. I would have been happy with a 7, ecstatic with an 8, but we got 9.2. Out of all of the people that have taken that training and went on to do the service, we had over 500 people go through that program so far. Okay. So yeah, so I can't stress it enough. Get on the wait list, because it will be opening up in February. And if you don't get on the wait list, you have zero chance to be a part of that program or even learn what it's about, because it sells out so fast. All right. All right. Just give me a minute. I'm scrolling. Yeah, be specific with your questions. Yeah, Natasha, we don't do one-on-one training. We don't do one-on-one calls. Yeah. The Freight Broker Sales Accelerator is a group training program. I used to have a one-on-one coaching program. It was $30,000 a year. And while it was very profitable for me, I could only help a small number of people at a time. I think I limited it to like a dozen students at a time. Now I can offer it much more affordably, and I can impact and help a lot more people. In the last year, I've helped over 500 people go through that program versus maybe a dozen people in a one-on-one training. So I don't do one-on-one coaching or consulting anymore. If you're looking for startup training, you go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com. If you're looking for more advanced sales training on how to get shippers and to really ramp up and grow, then you go to the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, get on the wait list. Tony Parker, I don't have a single shipper. Please tell me the best way, like how to find them. My favorite way is LinkedIn. Okay. I use LinkedIn to generate well over $20 million in annual recurring revenue for my brokerage. I still favor LinkedIn. I am personally not a big cold caller. Cold calling works when done right, but I haven't made a cold call in well over a decade, right? And I taught my brokers to do it. I've taught a lot of students to do it. We've had a lot of great success stories. Matter of fact, I interviewed Lito Hakabayan not long ago. She had built a 6-figure income without making cold calls. I interviewed Mike Burke, another past student who also did the same thing. I interviewed Ajmal Barakzai, who's another student who used the no cold calling LinkedIn strategy to generate a seven-figure business. So yeah, my favorite is LinkedIn. But you can get customers cold calling, cold emailing, face-to-face, LinkedIn, networking, trade shows. There's lots of ways to get shippers. It really depends upon you and your wants, needs, and desires. Okay, Vanessa, you're asking an impossible question. How long after opening a freight brokerage does it start to pick up? I've been cold calling and marketing, but no luck. Everybody's different. I have students who their first week will get their shippers and start generating thousands of dollars. That happens. Elio Longoria, who's another student, I think he did $7,000 in profit his first week. He had no experience in logistics, something about like that. Others like Ajmal Barakzai, who another past student who we did a success story on, didn't get his first customer for 3 or 4 months. And then in the next 6 or 7 months, he did over $1 million in sales. So it's more common for most people to take, not get their first shipper maybe they get their first shipper in the first month or first month or two, and then it ramps up from there. But it really depends upon your input. It depends on two things: qualitative and quantitative input. Qualitative is how many conversations are you having with potential shippers, and that's quantitative. And qualitative is, what exactly are you saying to those shippers? What's the quality of that conversation? What is your strategy, right? And so those are two big variables. I mean, it's impossible for me to tell you, but I can tell you we have students who shoot out of a cannon in the first week and month start doing thousands of dollars in profit. We have other students that take months to do that same sort of thing. And we have other students who ultimately quit before they get a chance to succeed, right? So I hope you're not one of those. I hope you stick around, and I hope to interview you on a future Freight Broker Success interview. Good question, Carolyn. What makes your course unique than all other freight broker courses out there? The number one thing that makes me unique is that I am by far I'm the only broker training in the industry, and I'll challenge anybody out there to this, that's personally done over $200 million as a freight broker. So I have the experience and the credibility and the pedigree and the resume to prove it. In addition, as an entrepreneur, I've built 3 other companies besides that to 7 figures. So not only am I a good freight broker and understand how to build a freight brokerage, but I've actually built 4 multi-million-dollar companies in my career. So I'm also a good entrepreneur, marketer, and salesperson outside of that. So that's probably the thing that makes me most unique. Plus, I've trained over 10,000 students. We offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee, which nobody else does. And we've got tons of success stories. You can look at on the YouTube channel playlist, and you can look at some of the recent success interviews. We have students now that graduated Freight Broker Bootcamp and are now doing 7 figures per month. Month in and month out, they're doing 7 figures. I think Yogi Goswami, I forgot what he said. I thought he said he did 18 million last year. He's from India, by the way. English is his second language, and he's never been to the United States. All right. There's tons of other students that are doing 6, 7, and even 8 figures. So those are just a few things that probably make me unique. Hope that helps. But thank you for teeing it up. So if you guys want to check out and learn more about the training, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Okay, so P&D Logistics, how do you get set up as a broker with big companies like Coca-Cola, Uline? Well, here's the thing. Large companies typically have a very labor-intensive and lengthy process for getting approved as a new vendor. So they're going to make you jump through a whole bunch of hoops, okay? And it can be time-consuming. But all you can do is be patient and follow their process. Now, I'm going to tell you that should not be your primary target. As a new broker, particularly, large shippers should not be your primary target. You shouldn't be calling on Pepsi and US Steel and all these large companies. You should focus on small to medium-sized companies. Why? Number one, it's a lot easier to get set up. Number two, the demand from smaller companies is higher than the demand is for large companies. Why? Because asset-based carriers predominantly focus on large brands. Larger asset-based carriers focus on large brands. Larger freight brokerages focus on large brands. So you see, there's a lot more competition there than there is the small to medium-sized shipper. So number one, it's easier to get set up with. And number two, there's more demand. You'll find small to medium shippers more receptive and easier than large shippers. That's the bottom line. So I hope that helps. How do you find heavy specialized shipments? Well, what when you say heavy specialized shipments, you need to figure out what type of products are heavy and require specialized equipment. You tell me, what type of products are heavy? Heavy products, right? How about heavy equipment? Bulldozers, tractors, right? Heavy equipment. How about building supplies? Big, huge, cement, overwide, heavy, or dimensional, like, things that are long, overdimensional, or heavy. You got to think about it from a product perspective. So then you work from the products back to the industry, back to the companies that are making them, and now that becomes your list. So if your niche is heavy haul, then you need to figure out exactly what products make up the majority of heavy haul shipments. And a lot of it is heavy equipment, right? So heavy equipment is very, very common, right? So I hope should be a good start for you. Okay, so Caitlin says, I'm currently completing the boot camp. My niche is shipping containers. How do you recommend gaining information about that type of freight moved by each manufacturer? Okay, so it's very hard to determine when a company, most shipping containers are really import export, right? Or rail. Those are the three primary shipping containers, right? Well, I guess it could be air too, but predominantly it's going to be import export. So it's very hard to know, and there are databases out there and there are resources and data out there about import export. So you'd have to dive into the import export market and find out who's doing import export. As a general rule, you're not going to just be able to pick up the phone and call a random list of 100 shippers and assume that the majority of them are importing or exporting, because most of them probably aren't, right? Most of them are manufacturing or distributing domestically, and some of them will be doing import export, but you don't want to waste your time. So my point is that getting that data isn't always easy, right? But again, the value of that data really comes down to time, right? How much time are you going to spend trying to source that out? So you can do it the old-fashioned way, and you can call a bunch of people and ask them if they ship containers or import export, and then you focus on the ones that are, or you can try to access or purchase data that will give you a leg up and give you more information quicker to try to save you time. So that would be my suggestion. Is it true they're paying a percentage to shipper managers for loads? I'm sure there are people out there that do that. That's not common practice. But I'm sure there are people out there. I'm sure there are many shipping managers that have been fired for that. And I'm sure that that's kind of a backdoor deal. But I can tell you the companies do not promote that and will not allow that. If they're caught, they'll be fired on the spot, right? Because it's almost like embezzlement in a way, right? So yeah, so I don't recommend that at all. I don't recommend you pay a shipper. Or like if you have a shipping manager that you're working for XYZ manufacturing and he wants you to pay him per load, I do not recommend that at all. Because eventually he's going to get caught, right? So I never did it. I never, ever paid a shipper a commission for loads that they gave me. I never did that. I never paid a shipping manager to do that. I know there are people that have. I even know people that have done it. I advised against it. I didn't have control over it, but I don't suggest it. I think it's fairly rare, but it does happen. Yeah, you want to keep your voicemails very short. How long should a voicemail be? By the time I say my reason and leave my name, it's over a minute. 30 to 60 seconds. Try to keep it short, right? 30 to 60 seconds. Yeah, it's going to be very hard. You don't want to leave a 5-second voicemail. But 30 to 60 seconds is probably the norm. You don't want to go long though. Broker carrier agreement. If you need help with that, go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/freight brokers. And in those videos, I do a step-by-step training of how to set up your broker carrier agreement. That's where I would recommend you go. What could be the best question that a broker agent can do for a first time talking prospecting? There is no best. There are tons of questions you can ask. My suggestion is go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/freight brokers, and search in my videos for sales questions. I've got multiple trainings about questions, high quality, valuable questions that you can use as a part of the prospecting process, right? So rather than try to regurgitate all these here or pick the best one, go through those trainings. Go to youtube.com/freight brokers, search for sales questions, or go to the sales playlist, and you'll see a bunch of trainings I've done on different sales questions you can use. Leighton Wright says, what are your thoughts on working with FEMA? I think it's a great idea. We never did it, but I know brokers who have. Now, the problem is, part of the challenge is new brokers, you're not going to be able to work with government, DOD, or FEMA. Typically, they're going to require you to be in business for at least 3 years before you can work on government freight. So yeah, again, I think it's a great idea, but you're not going to, that is not going to be the primary customer that drives your business, because you got to understand FEMA, there's times when FEMA is shipping little or nothing. And there's times when FEMA is all hands on deck trying to help people in natural disasters. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest making FEMA your primary customer, but to use it as a backup or to supplement your income, I think it's a great idea if you qualify. OG says, you keep talking about LinkedIn, posted in every single logistics group, over 25,000 views and impressions, but 0 contacts. Well, again, there's qualitative and there's quantitative. Quantitatively, you've been posting in LinkedIn groups, which really isn't my favorite because I think LinkedIn groups are a waste of time. But using LinkedIn to publish and post content as well as engage with other people's content is a great strategy for finding, connecting, and engaging with shippers. But you got to understand, you have qualitative and then you have quantitative. A lot of it depends upon what you're saying, right? So again, it goes back to that having a compelling sales hook. It goes back to being different and not sounding like every other broker. It goes back to not pitching, right? On LinkedIn and social selling, you have to slow down the process, right? You've got to slow things down. It's not speed dating, right? This is not Tinder. As soon as somebody engages with your content, you don't beat them over the head with your pitch, right? You got to slow the process down, right? So I have an entire training. It's called my LinkedIn No Cold Calling for Freight Brokers training. Actually, I included that as a bonus as my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator this last time. So my suggestion to you is get on that Sales Accelerator wait list. I have an entire training that goes into depth about that, but LinkedIn is still probably the top resource online for salespeople selling in B2B, meaning you're a business selling to a business, which is what a freight broker is. Okay. It's not my stats. I have my own experience and success with it, but if you look in the B2B space, LinkedIn is the place to be. Thanks, Serge. Appreciate the kind words. Okay. I'm just scrolling through the comments here, trying to find a good question. We're going to be wrapping up here in about a minute, so hold tight. Serge asks, can you explain what a 3PL is? A 3PL, it just stands for third-party logistics company. A freight brokerage is a third-party logistics company. 3PL sometimes try to over glorify what they do. And some 3PLs offer more than freight management services. They'll offer things like warehousing. They'll offer pick and pack. They'll offer ancillary services. So a 3PL and a freight broker are one and the same, but sometimes 3PLs offer more ancillary services above and beyond just freight management, which is what freight brokers do. So I hope that helps. Natasha asks, how long is the agent broker class? Freight Broker Bootcamp, most students complete the Freight Broker Bootcamp training in 4 to 8 hours over a 2 to 4 week period of time. Statistically, that's what we've been able to determine. 4 to 8 hours of study time over a 2 to 4 week period of time. Now, everybody's different. When you get access to the course, when you purchase the course, you get instant access to all of the training. You don't have to wait for week after week after week. You don't have to wait for that in the Freight Broker Bootcamp program. Okay. So you get instant access. It's go at your own pace. Some people want to go a little slower. They want to take a month or 2 or 3 to absorb and do everything. Other people want to get through it very quickly. And so that's my answer. All right, guys, listen, we're going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank you for being here. Truly appreciate all the kind words. Truly appreciate you guys sticking with me here throughout this whole hour. I hope you guys enjoyed the training. If you did enjoy the training, all right, make sure you like the feed wherever you're watching this. And if you could share the stream, that would be great. Let other people know about the Freight Broker Bootcamp program, the free trainings that I do. And if you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, and you're getting a lot of information on YouTube and Google and all over the place, but it's not all jiving together, and you want something that's all put together A to Z to help you get started, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Again, we've trained over 10,000 students, been in business over a decade. We offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. There's nobody else that does that. We're more than willing to put our money where our mouth is. And we're well known to be the most cost-effective and comprehensive online training. You can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Have an awesome week. I may try to come back in here and answer some of your questions in the feed, in the thread here over the next week. If not, show up next Monday for another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live, and I'll try to get to your question. Thank you guys for being here. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome week, and we'll talk to you soon.